This is in the right, there we go, that's in the right place, yes? Well, I didn't think we would have to be begging for summertime to please come soon on June 4th, but apparently Natan knew, and so hopefully from your lips to Mother Nature's ears. Our opening words this morning are from Alice Berry. Children of the earth and sky, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below. Supported by earth's strong, firm crust, we build our homes, till the fields, plant our gardens and orchards. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossom, birdsong, sky, and a 2-year-old's tambourine. Then earth is truly our home, and we are one with all earth's creatures, parents of earth's children yet to be. I invite you now to join in singing and rise in body or spirit, hymn number 1010 in your teal hymn book, Oh, We Give Thanks.
When I led a campus ministry at the University of California in Davis, we sang that song at the start of every meal we had together, and at the end of it, everyone would drum on the table. So it's very weird for me to finish that song and not drum on something. Good morning, and welcome to First Parish in Bedford, a Unitarian Universalist congregation where people have been gathering for centuries to seek a better truth and live a better life together. We are glad you are here this morning on this somewhat gloomy June day, and also for all those who are gathered with us virtually on Zoom. We're glad you're here too. This morning is an exciting opportunity for us to honor and celebrate some of our young people, as well as the people who run our faith development programming for children and youth. And so it's wonderful to see those faces here and to hear from the beautiful youth choir. Thank you. Next Sunday will be our last regular worship service of the church year, so to speak. As many know, we tend to wind down a bit in the summer. So I hope you will join us next Sunday for the worship service, which will include the flower communion ceremony that we celebrate each year. Then we'll have an annual meeting after the service that will be hybrid. You can attend here in the building, you can attend on Zoom to vote on our budget and other matters of the parish. And then after that, there's going to be a Pride Festival on the Common, so you should stick around for that too. I think that will be a great deal of fun and a really important cause this year as ever. And also, if you feel excited to have some programs this summer, which no pressure, but if you would like to, you are very strongly encouraged to let me know. I'll send out some more reminders, but people are welcome and invited to lead summer programs in the time slot that we would usually have worship. And you can get creative. It can be a meditation circle, poetry reading, you could lead a dance workshop, you could have a discussion. So whatever it is that you would like to be attending this summer, you can make it happen too. It won't be hybrid because our tech team is getting a bit of a break. So it won't be on Zoom and in person, but it could be on Zoom or in person. Ah, yes. And so with that, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and we will join in our unison affirmation printed in your order of worship in English and in Spanish. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en espíritu de amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. You may be seated. And we have a special EJC moment coming from Dorothy Anderson-Perales, and I wanted to highlight before she gets up here that there's also a climate cafe today following the service in the Bacon Room, right up there, to discuss what concerns you most and your hopes for getting involved in the climate justice fight. So we'll hear more about climate justice now, but there's a meeting in the Bacon Room after worship if you would like to express your concerns and get involved.
Hello. Good morning. On behalf of the Environmental Justice Committee, I'm bringing you this little climate justice moment. Later in the service, I'm going to be dancing a piece, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. It is Blue Boat Home to Peter Meyer's beautiful music. And this choreography is inspired by the beauty of the earth, by the beauty of the wide open Alberta prairies with a big, big sky. It's inspired by the gorgeous views from the Rocky Mountains and by the beauty of the serenity sitting by the Concord River, where I always see my friend, the blue heron, gracefully standing, waiting. My dance is a prayer to the earth, a prayer for us to protect the earth, to protect this earth that our children will inherit. It is a dance of gratitude for our living natural world and all the creatures that call it home.
This morning we will be weaving together many natural and learning, growing metaphors, so bear with me. But whenever I am celebrating faith development in a Unitarian Universalist church, I always enjoy sharing the words of William Ellery Channing together. I feel that it is a core concept in our Unitarian Universalist identity and faith formation, and so I'd like to invite you all to join in our responsive reading. It's in your order of service. It is also in the hymnal, number 652, if you don't have an order of service handy. And also so that our folks on Zoom can hear me, I will be speaking all of the parts, but I invite you to respond in the italicized typeface. The great end in religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own. Not to make them see with our eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily with their own. Not to give them a definite amount of knowledge, but to inspire a fervent love of truth. Not to form an outward regularity, but to touch inward springs. Not to bind them by ineradicable prejudices to a particular sect of peculiar notions, but to prepare them for impartial, conscientious judging of whatever subjects may be offered to their decision. Not to burden the memory, but to quicken and strengthen the power of thought. Not to impose religion upon them in the form of arbitrary rules, but to awaken the conscience, the moral discernment. In a word, the great end is to awaken the soul, to excite and cherish spiritual life.
Good morning. My name is Marge Heckman, and I'm the chair of the Social Responsibility Council here at First Parish. As you know, on the first Sunday of the month, we share the offering of our plate with an organization that has been proposed by someone in the congregation. This month, the Environmental Justice Committee proposed that we share our plate with the Aruwawau tribe, which is a tribe in Brazil that is fighting desperately to save their territory in the Amazon. I sent out an email yesterday, and I'll let you know that there is a movie called The Territory, which if you haven't seen, I would highly recommend watching it. It's now streaming on Disney, but it basically shares the story of this tribe and their efforts to save their lands. So half of our plate this morning will go toward those efforts to provide them with equipment that they need for the surveillance that they do and all of the ways that they're working to try and save the Amazon. So thank you for your generosity.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue
Take a deep breath in and out. Can anybody else find their heart rate go down while they watch Dorothy dance? Is it just me? No. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Gardening and educating a person, a child, a grown-up, these have been used so many times. Who here has heard a gardening and learning metaphor or seen one on a magnet or a bumper sticker? Something. We all have, right? So, you know, you have your pruning metaphors. You need to sometimes cut some things back to allow other things to flourish. You have your weeding metaphors. Sometimes you have to take out things that are interfering with the main idea, getting enough energy. You have the putting down roots metaphors. You need to have a strong base to start before you can branch out and learn more and new things. You have your resting metaphors. Sometimes you have to let the ground have a quiet time before it can grow anything else new again. Environmental conditions. You need sun. You need light so that we can see what we need to learn and we can take in that energy. You need to water, you need to feed. All of these metaphors are so important. I'm somebody who has an interesting personal relationship with growing actual things. I have some moderate success, I think, with my small little vegetable garden, but I'm pretty much useless when it comes to keeping houseplants alive. Let me rephrase that. I am useless when it comes to keeping houseplants alive. And I was given a succulent last year, and so I asked a lot of people, and I said, how do I not kill this thing? I hear they're really hard to kill. And they said, yeah, you're not going to be able to kill it. Spoiler alert, totally killed it. But my favorite thing that somebody said to me is, it'll tell you when it needs water. Didn't know plants could talk outside of Alice in Wonderland, but okay, it will tell me when it needs water. Well, it didn't, and that's why it got dead, because I was waiting around for there to be some like miraculous sign from the universe saying, it's time to water this thing. So by the time I actually thought it needed water, it was overdue. And the lesson I learned from that is that sometimes you have to pay a little bit more attention to other details. Because when somebody says succulents can't kill them, so easy to grow, not a problem, I want to say, well, that might be true for you, but everybody gardens differently. right? The same way that as people in a community, whether you are currently parenting, parented in the past, or special person parenting somebody else's children, be they adult children of somebody else, that you are now their person, or you are a trusted auntie or uncle, and you are helping somebody grow in that way. We're all going to do it differently. And some of you can hang out with a plant, and you hear it tell you it needs water. That's not how I roll. So I have to come up with different ways to learn how to pay attention, right? Turns out succulents, they're actually pretty particular, because I did some research. They do not like shade for the most part, except aloe. It's an exception. Again, all these exceptions to rules. Oh, if you just do this for the plant, it'll be fine. Nope, there's exceptions. You also need to have particular soil, because succulents, they like extreme environments. Has anybody ever had a kid that will like just be fine no matter what is going on, but then you have another kid and they're like, I need these very particular conditions or your life is going to be not fun? Anybody ever hung out with different people like that? Exactly. Anybody have two of those kids in their own house? Yeah. It's always an adventure to figure these out. So I have succulents as gifts for our volunteer faith development people today. So here's the thing. Don't wait for it to tell you that it wants water, because it won't talk to you. Just take my learning on that. And they do want sun. They want sun. They don't like to be crowded, which I can feel like that. When I'm learning something new, I don't like there to be somebody like right here, right? So you gotta have space, you gotta have sun, you gotta have just the right conditions. So I would just like to share some names of our people that have helped out as our faith development volunteers this year. Some of them, I will also be saying their names again later, or if you think, hey, wasn't I supposed to stand up? You might be an OWL teacher, and I'm gonna get to you later, so you're cool. But you might also be in a different role. So I'd like to just shout out for Carla Bradford, Peter Cho, Liz Connors, Meg Lashak, Cecil Mercado, Patrick Oates, Dorothy Anderson-Perales, Sarah Dorr, Kath McCafferty. That little trio of folks have been really awesome with our junior youth group. Bradford, Carla's kiddo. Norm Heckman, awesome, late addition to one of our teams, and loved having him around, and Kelly Umstadt as well. Some of these were alphabetical and some of them were grouped differently. But those are our general people who've helped on Sunday morning faith development and our junior youth group and senior youth group people's gatherings. And then I also want to acknowledge, very specially, our outgoing faith development super committee chair, Judith Frediani. And you know what? Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, any chance we have to give Judith a nice little round of applause, I always want to give her one. And then our other Faith Development Committee members were Aaron Campbell, Christy Martin, Bob Dowd, Gray Hannigan, Corinna Dogan-West, Taylor Nichols, Mark Bailey, Kelly Umstadt, Doug Mooter, and Randy Courier. And Jerry Ross. There we go. That's everybody. And we've had an amazing year with lots of exciting different things happening. We've tried out some new stuff. It's been great. We have been listening to find out what needs water, and we have maybe killed a couple succulents along the way. I mean by programs, not like people, okay? Just want to, but we've also had some that have really flourished, and it's been exciting and wonderful and lovely. So thank you to all of those people, and I am excited that we get to hear a special arrangement of a wonderful piece. Emery Carroll, I'm totally calling you out right now. Emery, so everybody knows who Emery looks like? Emery. And as I pass this on, Natan, would you like to share anything else about Emery and his arrangement? Come on up. So Natan is the one who's, also Natan, everybody, give it Natan, like a Natan. Okay? And Natan, please tell us more about Emery's arrangement for this piece.
Sorry, everyone on Zoom. We love you. So this is a piece that is by one of my favorite bands of all time, Nickel Creek. They're just really important to me. I grew up listening to their music. I play mandolin as one of my primary instruments. I went to go see them play recently, and I heard this song, and I hadn't heard it since I began at this church. And hearing it with my new context of Unitarian Universalism really changed the way that I understood the song. and I will let you listen and kind of form your own interpretation. But when I brought the song up, I asked if anyone wanted to arrange it for us. I was going to do it myself. Emery volunteered, and I'm so happy that he did, because this is the first time in my career when I've ever had a student arrange a piece for us. So this is really exciting. Come on up, you guys.
What gifts this whole community has. It's just so lovely to hear the voices and to know of the story of how this came to be. And I still remember talking to Natan about the music for this service, and he just casually off the cuff, he said, "Hey, do you think I could ever do this song?" I'm like, "Can you do it for June 4th? Do you have time?" He's like, "Really? Yes, please." And so I love the creativity we have as a team, and it's just wonderful to work with Annie and Natan and Megan and everybody. Everybody's in. Brad, he's not here. Everybody. So our OWL program is a feather in the cap of our faith development program, as it is in most Unitarian Universalist congregations. And for anybody who might be watching on Zoom that isn't familiar, I'm looking around the room, and I think most of you in this room are familiar with Our Whole Lives, but since I don't know if we have any new folks on Zoom, I'm just gonna do a quick little reminder of what the Our Whole Lives program is. It is a comprehensive sexuality health program. It ranges from a kindergarten first grade curriculum all the way up to an elder adult curriculum. Most people consider the flagship of the program's options to be the 7th to 9th grade curriculum, which we traditionally offer here as an 8th grade program. And we will again next year for next year's 8th graders. This year was a bit different because coming out of pandemic-y constraints, we combined 8th and 9th grade this year. So we had a very sizable group. It was started out with 16 youth, and almost all of them completed the whole program. Some, I'm still going to share your names with them because they still did a lot of the program, but that is a testament to how fantastic our teaching team was for this program. And that was the illustrious Bob Dowd. And thank you, Bob. And the ever beautifully energetic and enthusiastic Melinda Ballou, who I think might be on Zoom, but big for Melinda. The ever-presently calm and chill Mark Bailey. And the just joyful, wonderful, brilliant educator that is Mitch Evans. That's our team. So here's all of the names of all of our 8th and 9th graders that did this program. Jack Campbell, Lauren Perales, Sophie Olson, Isabel Gittins, Annalise Randazzo, Catherine Nickel, Owen Brow, Riley Level Coldwell, Sarah Hannigan, Julian Muehlhofer, Tyler Muncie, Now Okamoto, Emery Carroll, Rylan Nichols, Taylor Nichols, and Corinna Dogan West. So big appreciation, because it was no small feat. It was pretty much every single Sunday morning for an hour and a half, except your holiday Sundays. So they all rocked it out. It was amazing. And I want to share a poem with you all that also is used a lot this time of year in congregations celebrating Pride. And since it's now June and it is Pride Month, I also felt this would be a fitting thing for us to share for all of us. And the words are from, this was printed out before I added it, so I will have to tell you later who wrote these words. I'm so sorry. The last name's Wilson. Can't remember the first name, though. But we speak so often of brokenness, but let us speak today of wholeness. You are welcome here, all of you, every part of you, beautiful, just the way you are. Here you do not need to be something more or something less. No holding back, no hiding, no exerting yourself, no trying to do more or be more. You have inherent worth and dignity. Nothing to prove here, nothing to prove to me or the person sitting next to you or to the children or to anyone. You don't have to try and be witty or more quiet or more outgoing. You are beautiful. Every part of you beautiful, just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all are beautiful just the way they are. You are extraordinary. Each and every one of you, different from each and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. Thank you all for learning and growing together in community and being beautiful to one another. And now we will move into a time of celebrating with our seniors. But first, we have a selection that was a personal request of mine that they sing specially for our bridging seniors.
Maybe you're going to sing with us? Right here, Maeve. Come on. Awesome job.
Thought I'd lost my paper there. We were going to get an ad lib on who these seniors are and what they're up to, and that could have been fun. So, unfortunately, spoiler alert, it's not true. Things just make less and less sense as you get older. But it's a lot of fun anyway. So, as you know, as many of you know, before I worked at First Parish, I worked in at the Unitarian Universalist Association in the Office of Youth and Young Adult Ministries. And one of the things that we focused on was addressing what was called bridging. Bridging is the term we use for the transition from being a youth, the term we use for people who are in middle and high school, to being a young adult, which at the UUA was defined as 18 to 35. So I thought a couple years ago, when I crossed 35, maybe that's when everything would make sense. It didn't work out. But seriously, this is just one moment we choose to honor a path that is always unfolding. As we know, there's never one moment when you go from being a toddler to a kid, a little kid to a youth to a young adult, or a young adult to a regular adult, or a regular adult to an elder. It's all a smushy path that often is winding and sometimes confusing. But we still choose to mark these transitions because they're important. And so bridging is a time when we can honor the accomplishments of some of our youth and remind them of their home here and their home in Unitarian Universalism. Like many denominations, we don't exactly excel at welcoming young adults into our communities. It's something that we're always trying to figure out how to do better. And so sometimes young people would joke about bridging really being cliffing. You just fall off the cliff of youth programming and there's nowhere to go. That will vary from person to person, but the one thing that we tried to emphasize when I worked in the youth and young adult office was that you always have a tether, even if it feels like a cliff. You always have a tether to your home congregation who will always be there for you and always love you. So I met this crew of seniors who are now graduating when they were in 8th grade when I first came to First Parish. And they were all members of our junior youth group. And I loved Cole Bennett's energy, enthusiasm. Elric, who at the time was going by Ricky, Elric McDowell, which I apologize for the typo in your name, but Elric McDowell, his quiet sense of humor, and Gray Hannigan's kind leadership in our group. I also appreciated that they were each people who thought carefully and followed their hearts. The pandemic did a real number on our youth programming. And so it was hard to stay involved for the youth of their class. But each of these youth did our coming of age program before COVID hit, and Gray has stayed involved serving on our youth subgroup for the Faith Development Committee, as well as working in the nursery here. So I'm going to honor Cole, Elric, and Gray, though Cole is not here physically because he had an ultimate Frisbee tournament. However, he is here in spirit and here in parents. We're proud of them too. And after I tell you a little about these folks and what they're up to, I'll invite you up, Gray and Elric, to take a book and have a moment of acknowledgement, and Cole in spirit. So Cole's an Eagle Scout. He enjoyed wrestling and ultimate Frisbee at Bedford High School. He will study computer science and interactive media and game design. Wow, that's a lot of things, and it sounds exciting. At Worcester Polytechnic Institute, his parents' alma mater. He is a generous and loving brother to Peaches, the tiny beloved dog. And he tolerates his other family members to various degrees. And this says, and I didn't write this, his favorite parishioner is Bob Dowd. Who doesn't love Bob Dowd? All right, Elric is headed to Fordham University in New York City with intentions of majoring in history. He was involved in First Parish and in the faith development and also in the choir since 2nd grade until things petered out in the pandemic. Very understandable. He played football for 5 years, starting in 8th grade, and was in the National Honor Society. Gray plans to attend Westfield State on a modified plan that will allow her to spend 2 semesters in South Carolina with her fiance before moving back to Massachusetts to continue working on a degree to become a history teacher. Her many activities have included wrestling, Girl Scouts, in which she won her Gold Award, student clubs at Bedford High School, volunteering, and being in National Honor Society. She also has 4 fish, all named Gus. And these are important facts. And a guinea pig named Frankie who likes to eat duct tape, which I find very challenging to imagine, but I believe it because it was sent to me by a reputable source. Gray and Elric, would you come up for a moment? Thank you for coming today, and thank you for being willing to let us clap for you and celebrate you and feel very proud of you. And we are very proud. And what I said is true. Wherever life does take you, and whether it takes you very far away or brings you right back here to Bedford, that this community is here for you. We have your back, and we're happy to support you through whatever life brings. And I hope you don't feel like you're falling off a cliff, but find wonderful places to bridge into and explore on your journeys. So we have these books. They're called Becoming, because we're all always becoming. And it says, A Spiritual Guide for Navigating Adulthood, which I would like one too, a spiritual guide for navigating adulthood. But these are some writings and some poems that hopefully will help along the way. And I have one for Cole. I'll connect you. So with that, I will use these closing words, which are some of my favorite closing words. You've all heard them before, probably. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Thank you. And now we get to sing. It's been fantastic watching our youth choir sing. We will all sing too. And 301? It's hymn number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky, in your fabric-covered hymnal.
Get yourself some sunlight. Get yourself some good soil. Drink your water and grow. Blessings be to you all.
unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf of good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. Unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life.